Hey, what's up guys? This is my extremely honest review of the Fold Pro 2. Now Dragonhawk kind of hit me up and said they wanted me to review some more products if I was interested, and I said I'm only interested if the machine is the Fold Pro 2, because as you guys know, I used the original Fold Pro and I love that machine. I used it for well over a year, and the other artists in my studio, they're still using it. I have friends who are still using it here in New Zealand and all over the world, some in the Tattoo Academy. It is genuinely a great machine. So this was the only machine that I was interested in. As you guys will know, this is not a brand new machine, so the review is almost late, but this comes from my genuine passion for the Fold Pro line. I really like that, and let's get into it. What happened next when I picked up this machine genuinely pissed me off a little bit, but let's get into it. All right guys, before we get into unboxing this, I do have my discount code for the Dragonhawk official website, which is the real Bronson -10. But keep an eye out on the video description, because I'm gonna try and get a bigger discount code for the launch of this video that might last a week or two, but I'll try my best to work with that company and do something special for you guys. But let's get into it. Okay, so we have the box, pretty nice. All right, so here we have our card, has all of our specs, but I'm gonna help you guys out with all of that as well, so there's gonna be no need for that. And here we are. So we got our machine. We have 2 batteries here, which is great, and we also have our RCA connection for those who are still into that. Now in this box, I will actually open it. In this box we have our RCA cable, which is actually a pretty nice touch. It does feel a little bit thin, the RCA cable. So you can see that there. A little bit thin, but it's all good. I'm never gonna use this. I could imagine if I was still using an RCA cable that this might not last me very long, because I used to have pretty thick ones and I'd still manage to break them within 12 months. Here we have our kind of toolkit, some O-rings, 2 Allen keys, and yeah, that's it there. No spare bolts or anything like that. And pretty generous here. We have 2 USB to USB-C cables, and they got a nice little hit of purple in there too. I'm not sure if you can see that. That's pretty cool. All right, so as I said, we have our RCA, we have our battery, another battery, and our machine. So we can pretty much just pull the machine out from here. All right, so here's the machine, and just like other machines, one long press on that middle button, that is our power on. We have our volt adjustment and a short press to turn that on. Now this machine runs extremely quiet. Now it does feel a little bit tougher for our needle adjustment, but the stroke adjustment, it feels kind of the same. And sounds pretty similar there too. Now some of these features to me feel a little bit flawed, and I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of a step up from the original Fold Pro, but we're gonna get into that shortly. So the motor in this machine is the M-Core C1, and the Fold Pro had the C2. So they're saying that this machine has a more consistent and better drive overall. Now our volt range is from 4 volts to 12, and our strokes is our 7 same strokes that we had on the Fold Pro, which ranges from the 2.4 up to the 4.2 millimeter stroke. So that's a huge adjustment range there. The battery is now 2000 milliamps and the Fold Pro was 1500 milliamps. And this machine is up a few grams heavier and also a few millimeters longer. Overall, it's 140 millimeters long and 233 grams. And they're saying the battery will charge in an hour and a half to 2 hours. And this battery does seem solid from my experience. I haven't run it completely dry. Even a full day, I'm still seeing 20% left, which is pretty good. Now, one of my major notes and improvements that I want to see in this machine, and I think another 100 hours will make sure that this is clear, but I noticed with the original Fold Pro machine, sometimes that cartridge, it might not seat properly, even though you've pushed it in properly. the cartridge might make a crunching noise. And that's kind of, I think, the drive bar missing the drive bar on the cartridge as well. So them not lining up perfectly or something. Now, I feel like that has been improved and I haven't had that issue yet. I'm not too sure if that was really cartridge specific. I know I was using a lot of Quadrin back then, and that's not anything towards Quadrin. That's just the cartridge and this brand lining up well. But I definitely don't want to see that happening with this machine, so I'll let you know. And updates like that, as I get into my 100 hours used on this machine, I'll try and include a little update in the comments there for you guys. Now, building a tattoo machine is not hard. People can do it in jail. You can get ink into the skin with a sewing needle. But I truly feel like this is a top tattoo machine because there is no trauma when you're getting this ink in. There's no redness, you know. That's so important for not only our fresh tattoo looking amazing, it's great for the healing process because we know there's not excessive damage going on. The skin isn't battling against us as much. It's something that even the Fold Pro achieved, and I was really blown away. That was my first thing. And it wasn't until I had put that machine down again just recently after spending over $2,000 on a new machine, and I was seeing a lot of redness. It's something that's kind of been in that brand for a while. It's not knocking it. It didn't really heal any different, but I still I don't really want to see that. When I'm a kind of tattooist who's pretty top tier or trying my best, I need all these little things to be perfect and help me out. And for such a cheap machine to come through and do that, yeah, that's great. Now, I'm not an engineer or anything like that, but this drive system of the motor, it truly feels so precise and efficient at delivering that ink into the skin. And I think that's why we're seeing less redness. In the moment I pulled a line with this machine, it just flew in. Now, I'm sure experienced tattooists will know what I'm talking about when I say there was grip in the skin. You know what I mean? There was real kind of resistance. It wasn't floating around or not boom, going in there. You feel when you're at that perfect depth. This machine has a great kind of feel for that. And some of the other machines that I was using, that kind of wasn't there. And especially on a lining aspect, it was really not ideal. You know, I was using a shader machine, sure, but for the amount of money that I'm paying, and I'm still using the same stroke as what I'm using here, should just deliver. And if that machine can't put in a nice line, again, although it's a shading machine, it's kind of showing the effectiveness of it even being able to pack or smooth shade. If it's battling a line, it's going to be battling that shading as well, which is a realization that kind of let me down a little bit. And the thing I was talking about that really irritated me about this whole thing was this machine costing 159 USD, I think. It just kind of put my $2,000 machines into the back of my drawer again, which is what the Fold Pro originally did. And I, after using that for a while, I was like, oh, I'm going to upgrade to a different machine and buy one of these expensive new ones again. And I was happy with it, but just picking up this again, it's kind of just drawing me back to this machine. Which is pretty annoying, you know, when you spend a lot of money and then a brand comes out like this and just throws you something and it just seems flawless, you know. I'm honestly looking for flaws in this machine because I want every excuse I can to put this cheaper machine into the back of my drawer and pull my more expensive ones back out. But it's not looking good. And that leads me to my next conversation on who this machine is for. Because it's honestly, it's borderline too versatile, you know? It's great having all of these options, but I might as well kind of tape or weld that stuck to the 3.6 millimeter stroke because that's where I'm happy. I love it. The other boys, they actually like the 4.2, but yeah, I just really like that 3.6 millimeter stroke. And like I'm saying, it's just so versatile. We have so many options that this machine is really for every artist. And you might think oh yeah, that's great. You're making a review video and saying it's good for everyone, but it's true. It has 7 different stroke options. The budget is so low. And if you're a more experienced artist and you're thinking oh yeah, no, I'm safe because I've got the new Bishop, I've got the new Critical, I've got the new Cheyenne or the Eckes, just try this machine and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Straight away, you're gonna see that smooth silkiness in your ink without that redness kind of distorting anything, especially for black and gray artists. Redness can kind of change the value of what we're seeing. So yeah, this is a great machine. And obviously for any like low level artist, apprentice, or you're just getting into this, the budget is so friendly, and it's great for you guys to be able to get such a good product for such a good price early on in your tattoo career. I would recommend starting into your lower strokes, maybe the 3.3 or 3 millimeter, and just slowing your hand speed down. These higher strokes, they are going to cause a little bit more damage. As you're slower, you're figuring everything out, you know, so a very versatile machine. And it can suit any style, you know, if you're a little bit more bold and permanent with all the actions that you're doing, higher strokes, you know. But even, I know realism guys using the 4.2 millimeter stroke, and they're just lowering their volts a little bit. So this machine truly can do it all. Now onto my negatives about this machine. The main one for me is I really struggle to find this power button. Like when the machine's wrapped, this is all kind of the same, like, you know, just that like cylinder. Although there is a little flat spot where our screen is, I struggle to kind of like find it. I want to be able to be like, just one hand, like tap it at all times. So I'm not too sure if that's like a skill issue for me. Maybe a little bit more hours and I'll be better with this machine. But it feels a bit fiddly, like I kind of have to stop, like the machine's still running, and then I'm like searching for the button and then push it. So I think that could be an improvement there. The screen to me, although they say it's an upgrade from the Fold Pro, I like the simpleness of the Fold Pro, you know, it was just kind of like that black and white. They do say that this is a screen upgrade, but it's all pretty small anyway, you know what I mean? Maybe the bigger screens that they have for like their kind of Zodiac, you know, there's like the Year of the Horse and all of that, where the screens are a little bit bigger. So they're all compatible. So that might be a cool little upgrade that you could do to this machine as well. Dragonhawk, if you're watching, just send me a couple of those. Another thing is the grip. To me, it doesn't feel amazing. I don't have a problem with it, but using my more expensive machines, I feel like the grips that they have, they're like just a touch bigger, and it kind of fits your finger. So we do have little grooves, but on the other machine, these grooves are a little bit bigger, and I feel like it just fits my hand that much nicer. Again, not much of a huge issue, and I'm sure I'll get used to this very quickly, but I think there's room for improvement there. Now, when I was talking earlier about things that I would have liked to have seen improved on this machine, one of those big things for me is our stroke and our needle adjustment. It's all the same action. So to me, it seems like we need something, you know, to make sure we can operate this completely blind and never have to check up like, oh, have we adjusted our stroke throughout this tattoo session? I've done it before with the Fold Pro. I'm sure you have. I know other artists in here have. Like afterwards, we kind of have a laugh, like, oh, that section took ages. And then I look down and I'm on like 2.7 millimeter stroke. So I feel like for our stroke, we should have, because that's adjusted less, we should have it like pull up a little bit and then like slide across and then kind of like click back down. Something like that. I know more moving parts, maybe there's more error for something to break. So this is probably like a very simple design, but still it's just a little bit close to that action, and I feel like it just happens with this machine. You occasionally adjust your stroke when you're trying to do your needle and things like that. So I think there's room to still improve that there. But maybe if our power button was like on the side, or even if we had two power buttons or one on the top, you know, it's like a very simple thing. But at the moment, I am still struggling to find it. But like I said, I'm not a couple 100 hours deep into this tattoo machine yet. Wrapping this machine, it feels a little bit more tedious than some of my more expensive machines as well. Most of that's coming down to multiple adjustment points on myself still needing moving parts on all of this, you know. But I'm pretty much just taping this shut at the 3.6 and then wrapping everything up. When I've tried keeping everything open for adjusting, things seem to like kind of come apart a little bit as far as like all these like barriers and stuff that I'm putting in place. Now again, if you're wanting to make any purchase at all from the Dragonhawk official website, I do have my discount code, the Real Bronson -10, but check out the description in the video for a higher discount code. Again, I would love it if you guys would post something to your Instagram, like a screenshot of you guys watching this video, post it up to your story, and I'll be sure to reshare and tag you in that as well. And one more thing before I go, I've been putting more work into the Real Tattoo Academy, so really making sure that we are creating solid goals with all of the artists that are involved and putting in a real plan with real steps like weekly challenges and things that are going to compound for you as an artist to make sure that you actually hit your goals. Like, it's not questionable anymore. Obviously, my guidance is there one-on-one the whole time, but I'm helping you get through these steps. You're kind of coming back to me with where you're at after like your week 1 steps. And then we see, do we need to work on this more, or what are the errors on what's going on? And now let's adjust that for week 2, making sure that we are on the path of just going up and up consistently. So if that sounds like something that you're interested, then check it out. There's links everywhere, all over my Instagram, or hit me up on Instagram for a conversation about it. It's called the Real Tattoo Academy. So there's exclusive content, just like what's here on YouTube, but hopefully more in-depth. And most importantly, I'm there for any questions. Like, I'm personally there, like voice messages back to you, like everything's me. I'm genuinely here to help you guys level up, but I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you for your time.